Hey, what's up? Today's video, we're going to be going over all of the Metamorphosis Event champions, and we're going to be ranking them all. I did say in yesterday's video, today's video was going to be the 2019 champs ranked, but I decided I wanted to go ahead and talk about these champions because they're coming out tomorrow, and I would like to kind of talk about each and every single one of them, kind of rank them. So if anybody has any questions or anybody is struggling to understand which one to rank up, maybe this video will help. Thursday is when I plan to release the 2019 ranking video, so stay tuned for that. It is probably my favorite one that I've made so far because the champions are just so great. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into this video, but I have one thing to say. Tomorrow, we should be achieving our fourth R5. So if you want to vote on my newest R5, please go down in the comments or in the description and click on the video. It is called My Newest R5. And go down in the comments in that video and type in which R5 you want me to rank up, or like a comment. The comment with the most likes in that video will be my newest R5. I believe as of now, Civil Warrior is winning. So if you want to see that, vote for him. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into this ranking. So there are 6 champs. Usually we rank 5, but there are 6 of them, so we're going to rank all 6 of them. And I believe all 6 of these champs are pretty good. They all have uses in the contest. I will say, them being event champs, I don't really like. I think all 6 of these champions could have been in the base pool or even in like another super duper box in the future. I don't believe they should be locked behind sort of a paywall, which they're not going to be. We should be able to get 2 free keys, I believe. So you should be able to get 2 Ascensions for free. But still, that being said, I believe they should be in the base pool. I don't believe they're anything special. It's not like we're getting a meta tier character at an Ascension level. But yeah, enough yapping. Let's go ahead and get into this list. So in the 6th spot, the worst Ascension out of the 6, I believe, is Atuma. So, Atuma is not a bad character whatsoever. Atuma is a decent character. I would say he's mid to a little bit above mid. He's about average. Thing with Atuma, he is like 75, 80% made to be a defender. He did get buffed on attack in this recent update. They just kind of buffed most of his numbers in his kit, and he's not bad on attack per se. He's kind of struggles on attack. There's not really a target matchup for him. Um, that being said, he's not very good with short form. He's alright with medium form and long form. He can do some crazy things at the highest level, but even at that, he still does struggle with that long form content. He's just mainly a defender, and even nowadays, there's a lot of Atuma counters. So that being said, I don't believe he is that crazy of an option. I believe he is actually the only champion, in my personal opinion, that's kind of bad in this box. The champion itself is not bad. Atuma is not bad whatsoever, but I believe locking him behind sort of a paywall with units or whatever, if you kind of understand what I mean, is kind of bad. I don't believe he is worth the units spent. But yeah, if you pull him, he's not bad. I know I keep saying that. He's just not the greatest. I feel like his buff on attack didn't really help him out that much. I mean, it did help him, and he can do some things on attack, but there are 3 other Ascensions in the skilled class I can think of off the top of my head that are better than him, and way better than him, and they're free, that being Baron Zemo, Black Panther, and Hitmonkey. I mean, all 3 of those characters are amazing on attack, some of the best skill attackers in the game, and they also have really great defensive prowess. So why would you ever want to click on, or why would you ever want to claim an Atuma? I don't know. I just don't feel like Atuma kind of fits in with the box. But maybe I'll be genuinely surprised if I pull him, and I'm kind of forced to rank him up if I pull him. But yeah, Atuma, I believe, is in the 6th spot. If you do pull him, you're not in a terrible spot, but I believe he is probably the worst one in the box. Now, next up, we have a little bit of a jump in power here. I still believe this 5th spot is still kind of but I believe if you pull this champion, you are in a good spot. I believe from here on out, all the champions get better, and you're actually in a good spot. But that being said, the next one is White Tiger. The 5th best champion is White Tiger. So, I've never been a White Tiger fan. I've always kind of thought she was mid and kind of lacking on the damage. And I still do think she is lacking on the damage, but she has pretty solid utility, and she is immune to nullify. She has really, really great power steal and power gain. She has really big bleeds, and her kit's just kind of fun to play. She kind of plays similarly to Ghost in a weird way. Um, and it's very fun. Her animations are very clean and slick. She's a very good character. I just her damage is very lacking. It's very weird. Her damage numbers are on the bottom end of a lot of champions in this game, and I feel like they needed to buff up those damage numbers just a bit. With the Ascension, I've watched some Ascension gameplay on her. She still is kind of lacking that damage compared to a bunch of other Ascended champions. She is way, way better. The only problem with her, well, I guess another problem with her is she's not a defender at all. She really is not a defender. Any character in the game could really take White Tiger, no problem. But that being said, she is pretty solid and she is pretty fun to play. I have played her a couple times at just this rank 1 level, just in some random content here or there, and she is pretty solid. But that being said, I don't believe she's anything special. I do believe she is better than Atuma, and if you pull her, you're actually in a pretty good spot. But yeah, nothing crazy, but I believe she is a very solid character, and I would actually be pretty happy to pull her, just to maybe give me a reason to rank her up. But I would rather pull the other 4 ahead of her. But yeah, that is White Tiger at the 5th spot. Now, we jump up a little bit more in power. Here's probably the last champion I talk about that I would be okay with pulling, but I wouldn't care if I didn't pull. Like, I wouldn't be losing sleep over not pulling them. And that is Dust. Dust, I believe, is the 4th best in this box. The thing with Dust is she is meant to be a defender, but she's also really great on attack, actually. She is pretty solid on attack. The thing is, though, you really want the Gambit Relic on her. She benefits from the Gambit Relic a lot, and she has to kind of throw an SP3, which a lot of mutants in the game nowadays kind of throw an SP3, which is totally fine. They have the skip SP3 button, which is totally fine. But yeah, she is a very weird champion to play. She is very fun. Watching all those sands build up is very fun, and watching all those prowesses and those big specials do a lot of damage is pretty nice. She's very crit reliant, like a lot of other mutants in the game. You want to get those big crits, because if not, you're not doing very much damage. She doesn't really have very much burst damage. That being said, she is a very, very solid champion. She has great immunities. She's a great defender, a very, very good defender. And she's pretty great on attack, and she does a lot of good matchups, a lot of meta matchups today. She's just nothing special. I believe she would be. I believe she is 4th on the list. Sorry. I also believe she should have been in the base pool. She would have been a great base pool candidate. She would have been one of the highest if she was in the base pool Ascensions, in my personal opinion. But what are you going to do? They added her to this event. And I would be pretty okay with pulling her. But like I said, kind of with White Tiger, I would be happy pulling her. Give me a reason to play her. But if I didn't pull her, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't lose sleep over it. But yeah. Now we get into the top 3. And these 3 champions, I believe, are all really, really great. And these should be your target champions in the event. That being said, a lot of people have different play styles, but I believe these 3 champions are probably some of the best in this box and some of the better champions in the game that I've wanted for Ascension. I believe these are 3 very, very solid characters for Ascension. So, at the 3rd spot is actually Spot. So the thing with Spot is he is a decent defender. He's nothing special on defense, but he can do some stuff on defense and kind of mess you up. But he's an amazing attacker. He is very, very fun to play. The only problem with him on attack is he is very, very difficult. And most people might think that is crazy to say, but that's just because you have to get used to this character. He has a very, very weird playstyle where you want to take hits to the block, you want to be heavied, then you want to combo them. But if you get used to that playstyle, he is very, very good. Legacy and Nick136 are some of the greatest spot players I've ever seen. So if you want to see really, really great spot gameplay, please go watch them, because I can't play spot that well. But yeah, he has a big learning curve, but if you can maximize that spot output, you are doing insane damage. He has some of the highest damage in the game, it feels like. Just so easy to burst down matchups. And another great thing about him is, I find he is very good for almost every class in the game. There's a lot of defenders in each class he can take perfectly fine because his playstyle is so weird and so different that a lot of characters can't really counter it per se. He is kind of weird in the fact that he's not really like a science character in my eyes. Like I don't know how to explain it. He has a lot of science like parts in his kit, but like a lot of his great matchups are not mystics. He can do a lot of mystics very very well. That I'm not saying he can't do mystics. Mystics are still his best matchups, but some of his like cheese matchups or better matchups are outside of the mystic clash, which is pretty cool to Spot. But I believe Spot is a very very good champion, and if you can maximize that like output and damage output and learn how to play Spot very very well, he is one of the best champions you can pull from this box. The only reason he is at third place just because he is very very hard to play. A new player cannot pick up Spot and just instantly learn him like that. Now, these two spots are very, very close. I believe these two are obviously the best champions, and they're a little above Spot, but they are like up here, Spot's here, and the rest are kind of down here. Just because Spot is kind of harder to play, like I said. These two champions are kind of easy to play. But that being said, the number 2 spot is actually Iron Man. So, the thing with Iron Man is I wanted to put him at 1, and I thought he was going to be the best champion, but I have just kind of watched some Iron Man gameplay, and I just think he does too much damage, and that's kind of crazy to say, but a lot of his target matchups and the best places to bring Iron Man in, if you didn't ascend him, he is still doing that fight in the same amount of time. So that being said, the Ascension doesn't really benefit him in that aspect. Like BG's fights, a lot of BG's fight, you would bring him in. He would almost do the rank 4 fights in the same amount of time without the Ascension, just because his damage is so high. Even without the Ascension, it's just kind of the same, because you want to go for that special 2, and then you want to go for that special 1. You can't really get around doing that with his rotation. With that being said, he's an absolute tank. He is one of the tankiest characters in the game. That makes him actually a pretty solid defender, and he has great immunities when he has armor. But the thing about it is, his kit isn't that crazy. Like, he's not very hard to fight on defense. His specials are a little weird to dex, but if you can learn that, you're chilling. He just has so much armor that it's hard to do a lot of damage to him quickly. So in that aspect, he's pretty solid on defense. But he's very, very great on attack. He is very great on attack. Like I said, he does so much damage. It is absolutely absurd. And maybe that's a hot take that he does so much damage that he actually is lower on the list. But I don't know how to explain it any better. Just go watch gameplay, and you're doing that SP2 and SP1, and you have so much overkill at the max Ascension level for a rank 4 defender in BGs, maybe even a rank 5 defender. You still have so much overkill, Ascension 1 and Ascension 2, just because he does so much damage, that it's almost not worth getting the Ascension for BGs. Now, story content, you want that Ascension. You want as much damage and tankiness as humanly possible. So, it's just kind of a glass half full kind of thing. But that being said, Iron Man still is my target pull. I personally think Iron Man is going to be my favorite champion to pull out of this, but I don't believe he is the best to pull. But that being said, Iron Man is amazing, and I believe he is going to be almost everyone's target matchup, because obviously he's one of the best raid characters too. But that being said, obviously number 1 is Null. Null is just a great character. He has been good ever since he's been in the game. He is a very, very solid defender. Can do a lot on defense. Is a great attacker, a great long form attacker. Can do short form attack too. Can do medium form. He can just do it all. He has great immunities. He has a Trixie. He has a great big armor breaks. He has regen, very, very potent regen too, when he takes in those armor breaks and heals himself. So yeah, Null is easily the best in this box. I want Iron Man just a little bit more because I like Iron Man more as a character, but I would love to pull Null and Iron Man. So yeah, these are my 2 champions, and I would love to hopefully maybe get them Ascension 2, depending on where I go in the milestones. But yeah, these 2 characters are very, very great, but Null, I believe, is the best, just by a little bit. I mean, they are so close. I just think Null takes the edge just a little bit better. But yeah, that is all 6 Metamorphosis Event champions ranked. Go down in the comments, let me know how I did, or what you would change, or who your favorite character in this event is. And question of the day, what is your favorite symbiote in the game? We're ending on a symbiote, so what is your favorite symbiote in the game? Mine is probably Venom. Just Venom in itself, or Carnage. I don't believe Carnage is that great, but I just like the characters that much. But yeah, new event coming out tomorrow. A lot of great new stuff. We hopefully have a live stream and videos on that. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.